I think D&D is probably releasing December. I know I hate saying dates though, because we've been wrong so many times, but I'm pretty sure this one's right. We're very close. We have 7 episodes already recorded. We're not releasing it all at once. We're still trying to figure out how we want to release. There's a couple things left to figure out when it comes to that stuff. No, it's not editing. I don't really want to get into what's holding it back because I think it'll be better as a surprise. Maybe I can talk about some parts of it. Let me think. Whenever we launch a new product as the Yard, whether it's like merch or a podcast or like D&D, usually top level creative will come from me, and it'll be a conversation that the 4 of us have, but normally it'll be like I go and I build out my idea of what this thing should look like, and then I show it to the guys, and I'm like, do you guys like this? And then they give feedback. And when it comes to D&D in particular, I have never played the game. And I actually personally have not liked any D&D content I've watched. And that to me was like, okay, so if we're going to do it, I'm very interested in trying the game. And I'm also very interested in filling a niche, in my opinion, or a gap, I guess, in my opinion, of D&D content that I would enjoy. That idea kind of excites me when I'm like, I see a way, I'm like, oh, I want to make something that I think doesn't really exist yet. And I think that like the way I would define it is like most D&D shows are casted with like comedians, voice actors, very, I would say, theater kid energy. Not necessarily in a bad way. I think people who like D&D, especially like Dimension 20, Critical Role, I think they like it predominantly for the people. And that's great that they have something that they love. I personally am not into it for the most part. And I find myself not really laughing a lot when I watch these shows. And I, recognize that storytelling and D&D in particular is not just about being funny. It's like drama is a big part of it, fantasy, role play, all that stuff. And that for us, I think, is a really big, I think you'll watch when the show releases how new we are to a lot of stuff like that, like role play, and how uncomfortable we kind of are doing it at first, and we get better over time. Like an unfortunate reality, I think, is that episode 1 is probably going to be a lot worse than I know for a fact episode 1 is a lot worse than episode 7. Because we got a lot better at it. And to me, the fun of the show is, what if 4 people who sucked at this but were funny, like, teamed up with a very experienced dungeon master, and we try to basically break the game and him, but we are unsuccessful in doing so. So a lot of the initial hurdles for me in particular, I do think I'm a huge reason the show got delayed. Not the entire reason, but a huge reason, is I really want it to be exactly the vision in my head. I want it to like fill something I think is missing. And I want it to be really funny, but I also want a lot of the surrounding artwork to be good. I want the Patreon structure and like the incentive for people who are already paying to be patrons. I want that to be good. I don't know how much more I want to say, but the general idea here is that I really want it to be good, and my definition of what good is historically somewhat comes from pushing the medium in ways that like create work that I would enjoy myself, and that has taken time. Not only that, but being realistic, I work at Off-Brand. I don't just do the Yard. I don't have a ton of time, and so a big change we made this year is we got a producer that's been helping a shit ton. And has basically been, I would say, the biggest reason the show is actually even going to come out. And, right now, like, we record the Yard on Monday. We do the premium on Tuesday. We do the advice show on Wednesday. We do I'm baitless. Thank you so much for saying that. We do the DCOM show on, like, Friday, Saturday. Now we're going to have to do D&D in there, too. I know it's a champagne problem, but I'm trying to build a show that we can realistically, especially with someone like Ludwig's schedule, realistically do and deliver every week without missing it, because I think that's important to be consistent. I think it's a big reason why the Yard has been successful is that we're extremely consistent. Like, we've never really missed an episode. We always try, even without just missing it. We don't really ever phone it in. Like, Me and Slime kind of obsess over every single one, and we'll talk about almost all of them after, like, was that good? If we felt like it wasn't, like, what do we change next time? So, you know, long story short here, it taking a long time is my fault, but I think it'll be worth it, and I don't really think there's a rush. I think we made a mistake in announcing it in the first place. I'm hoping that has built hype and not resentment, or I guess more hype than resentment. But, you know, it'll be here soon, and I think it'll be good. We debated for a long time if our DM should be, like, a close friend that people would recognize and would be more like us, or if it should be an expert. We debated for a really long time, and I think we made the right choice. If the D&D show is good, will you consider continuing it? I mean, yeah, duh. It'd be weird to start it without the intent to continue it. Who knows what the shelf life is on any of this, though. Aiden's going to move to Sweden one day. Who knows how long the yard goes, you know? I would do it for 10 years if we all enjoyed doing it that whole time. It's tier 1. No, it's not going to be paywalled. There will be paywalled perks, but the show is free. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it being paywalled. It doesn't really feel right. Like, if we really think it's, like, I don't know, if we're going to record that often and we're going to put this much time and effort and, like, production value into it, like, it should be free. No, there won't be a separate Patreon. If you are a sub, get ready for more perks for the same price. I also think, I don't know if I'd call it cost effective. I'd call it high value. There's so much shit for your dollar. I believe that with my heart. If I didn't, I'd blow my brain out.